Hey everybody, sorry the camera looks a little off and this video is a little weirdly edited or whatever, but it doesn't matter because this is just one of those quick, brief recording videos. Oh my God, I did it, guys. Yeah, I'm sure all of you out there did too, because it's not hard to watch a show or a movie, I know, but still, I finished Dragon Ball Daima. So many emotions, man. So many emotions. I did not hate it. I'm not going to come off as an asshole or a dick. Please don't interpret this wrong. And I'm going to talk about other Dragon Ball animes in this video, not necessarily the manga series. Maybe if I talk about the manga, I will say the manga. This was it. This was perfect, wasn't it? It was. I don't know how I can't speak for everyone's feelings and opinions on this, but please bear in mind this is his swan song. Everyone, the man died a year ago. This video will be uploaded a year, after we lost him. This was Toriyama's swan song. This was it. It was beautiful. It was. It was fucking gorgeous. You can't tell me it wasn't. I have a tough time crying on camera, but I can feel the emotions. I can. It was beautiful. It was fucking beautiful. It was perfect. It was. I can't believe it. I really can't believe it. People were bitching a little bit about the ending, and I understand. Don't get me wrong, but there's not much that can be done. A part of me feels like maybe he knew. Maybe he knew that he was gonna go. And part of me believes maybe not, because look at the last thing he worked on with Dragon Ball Super, the manga, and this, with Piccolo waving goodbye, and the way how this was wrapped up, it was just it's very 50-50. It's hard to tell if he knew or didn't know. It's fate that it ended a year after his passing. That's an act of God right there. That's crazy how that worked out with timing. Who would have? Nobody in the world saw that coming. I don't think that was intentional from Toei Animation. The show was scheduled to release on that date in October, way before he passed away. There's no fucking way. It's fucking crazy. This is like a phenomenon. This is just unexplainably crazy. This is unexplainable. It is. It's fucking insane how the timing is just so pure and obvious, but also jaw-droppingly perfect. It is. It's mind-boggling how it turned out that way. Super Saiyan 4 was fucking perfect. Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta was great. The animation was fucking beautiful. The creativity, the world building, all of it. The ending was there was none of that shit. Was we'll see the heroes in the next adventure. None of that was there. It was this is gonna feel satisfying. The characters are going home. They're all saying goodbye to their new friends. Similar to GT, how Goku said goodbye to everybody. Fucking A. That was the kind of ending I really wanted. I wanted a final ending from Toriyama, from him, showing us that Dragon Ball can conclude here. And he did it. He did it, didn't he? Yes, there was a little tease at the end with the bugs and third eye. I know it's silly, but still. And that's also classic Toriyama. It's funny. It comes off as funny versus annoying. I laughed. I did a hearty laugh. And I was like, you classic son of a bitch, Toriyama. You gotta love him. He's a gag manga artist first. If you're a true fan of him, if you truly understand him, you would know that. He's a gag manga artist first, or creative first. That last bit was truly funny and very him. This whole episode just felt like his soul was just 100% in it. It was just him. This was fucking him, the person, the human being himself in anime form. This whole final episode, Daima, was him. The entire fucking thing, from beginning, middle to end. The whole fucking thing. In fact, the whole fucking show was him. I know he didn't do the design of Super Saiyan 4, maybe. I know it was by the original creator. That's actually pretty badass, in my opinion, and beautiful that he honored the original designer of Super Saiyan 4 to come back to do it. But the whole project, the whole story, the whole Dragon Ball Daima, all 20 episodes, the whole thing is Akira Toriyama. This was his vision. This was his finale. This was his story, okay? Doesn't matter for the people who worked on character designs or whatever. He did every little fucking thing from beginning, middle to end. A story. And imagination and creativity. He did. I can't fucking believe it. It's just like... It's just crazy because he's really gone and... This was really it. This was his final work. This was his swan song. This was his masterpiece. Do I think this is the best Dragon Ball anime? Maybe, honestly. Better than Dragon Ball NZ, the original animes? Maybe. Maybe. And I know people are going to get mad and say crazy things in the comments about that. That's okay. I understand. If it was for Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Daima, I get it. I fucking get that, okay? Calm down. But this was, for the fact that it was a condensed 20-episode show, helped a lot. It helped a lot with its pacing. I love Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, but even the most die-hard fans agree that the pacing at times is just unbearably slow. And I try to not mind it for the most part when I watch the show because I generally appreciate the fuck out of it for what it is. Hell, I made my own DVDs. I made a whole video about the best way to watch it. I made a whole video about that, okay? I appreciate the original anime to death. To fucking death. To fucking death. To fucking death. Okay? Alright? Make fun of the fuck you want. It doesn't fucking matter. I'm speaking from the heart. I don't give a shit. It doesn't matter because I am. And when you speak from the heart, you know shit's real and you shouldn't care what other people think. You fucking shouldn't. So, saying it like it is. I'm saying it like it is. I'm being real with you. I'm being 1,000% real with you, the viewer, right now. No matter what the fuck you do or take this as you want, I don't give a fucking flying ass rat shit. Rat ass shit. Because this is all genuine. All of it is. So, anyways. Daima was the best. It was beautiful. It was gorgeous. That doesn't mean Dragon Ball and Z are inferior or even GT. Hell no. Not even GT. The original 90s, 80s, and 90s TV run of Dragon Ball is still incredibly important and special. It's a complete story that I love, including the movies, actually. If you want to include the original, 16 films, I think. Because Dragon Ball to Z... Yeah, I think it's 16. There's just 3 for Dragon Ball and 13 for Z, so that'd be 16. And don't forget the episode specials, too. They are important. Like Trunks, Bardock, the fire safety, traffic safety special with Kid Goku from Dragon Ball, and of course the hero's journey in Dragon Ball GT, right? Those all matter. So, all of it does. The original stuff, all of it, from the original staff members to animation, from the late 80s to the late 90s, it all matters. It all matters. I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm not saying it's not special. I'm not saying it's unimportant. I'm not saying it didn't have influence. Of course it does. But this is from the man that gave us all that. This was his finale. This isn't just a sequel show. And I know people can be like, oh, how does it connect to Dragon Ball Super? It's not really, it's a prequel to Dragon Ball Super, so it's not really the finale. Let's turn on our brains here. Let's turn on the brain, okay? Please? You gotta believe, you gotta know that them officially stating and saying that Dragon Ball Daima is a prequel story to Dragon Ball Super was a marketing tactic and publicity. I'm not gonna say ploy or I'm not gonna say it was a way to trick you. It was, but technically it is. But let me explain. It was a method they used to surprise the audience. It was a method they used to surprise you, the viewer. Yes, I know it confused you. Yes, I know it's like, what the fuck? How does this make sense? It just is. Like, there's a shit ton of surprises in the show, which is a huge part of how, in my opinion, probably makes it the best Dragon Ball show. But that's something that can be dated over time since we know everything. But in terms of story quality and character development and quality and character action and motivation and movement and moments and like the way the story was carried and the way how the world is being built and there is a lot of showing and not a lot of telling in this, which is surprising for a very short show. But they really benefited the story, and you got the gist of it. You didn't need to be explained every little thing that was going on. I thought it was very surprising. I think it was it episode 18 or 19? I think it was maybe 19. Maybe it was 18. I can't remember. When Super Saiyan 4 Goku showed up. I think it was the episode when he first appeared. It was. And there was like little to no dialogue at that whole episode. The most of it was just a silent episode, which is badass. It was just a beautiful fucking execution, and there's no fucking goddamn way you can disrespect the animation in the show. The animation was god tier in this fucking show. It was god S tier shit, Studio Ghibli level, beyond that even at times. This was Dragon Ball at its absolute best in terms of animation. There's absolutely no fucking goddamn way you're gonna disrespect that. Fuck off with that bullshit. There's no way. This deserves all the praise. This is just a no fucking brainer. I know it's like disrespecting the Beatles or something. There's no fucking way that you can do that. That's heartless and inhumane to go against the fucking effort and credit. The animation was jaw-droppingly, eye-bogglingly beautiful. Like, whoa, holy shit! My eyes were definitely glued to the whole episode. Wow, and that final Kamehameha, what a... Toriyama, you fucking genius. Dragon Ball is full of deep moments that you don't think about first deeply. It's full of moments that Toriyama really had a deep thought in, and you believe it was just something that it's just like, oh, that's just kind of cool looking. But when you like see it again, eventually it hits you. You're like, that shit is deep. It's really fucking deep. It is. And that was one of those moments where it's like, there's so much to that moment. And the characters explain at the end, but it's the final Kamehameha that he ever put in a Dragon Ball story. And it had all these beautiful, wonderful, positive outcomes. That was like, holy shit. That's fucking... That is just... You know, that's... It's just one of those things. If that's not a miracle, I don't know what the fuck is. Wow. It's like the man himself was more than a human being. He had to have known he was going to go soon before he made this series. Maybe he didn't know he was going to die so early last year. Maybe he thought he had a few years left. I don't know, honestly. But I think he may have had some inkling of knowing he was going to go soon. I don't think he knew for sure he was going to die at the beginning of last year. But I think he knew he was going to pass away soon. If you look at the work, the artist expresses himself through the work. In what he has made recently, his final work has a very finale approach to it. You can't deny that. You can't. Dragon Ball Daima is a 20-episode, tightly wrapped story. The last Dragon Ball Super manga he ever worked on was a finale of a story arc, and it has one of those endings that's an actual ending where things don't like, oh, what's going to happen next time? Well, maybe it kind of does. You know, so all Dragon Ball story, even GT has a kind of ending where it's like, where do our heroes go next? But it still has an ending that's like, damn, that was beautiful. That was satisfying. We're celebrating Goku as a character. Dragon Ball Diamond's ending was about that, but it doesn't like tell you that Goku's special. It's like you just kind of know that going into the episode, and it also celebrates all the characters, the whole cast, and like what they're doing next in their lives, and you just see it. You don't get like a narration saying like he's gonna leave and do this thing now, or these characters are gonna go to this now. That's what I hated that about Dragon Ball Super's ending. I did that. It was a nice ending, to be fair. It was Goku and Vegeta. It was cool and all, and yeah, it makes sense. But there's just something so special about this ending and Dragon Ball GT's ending that I just can't put into words. It just felt right. It felt satisfying. It felt earned. I just never was the biggest fan of Dragon Ball Z's ending. I do like the alterated manga ending with him and with Goku and Oob. I just feel like it's because there's more pacing. There's just more beauty to it. Okay, the original is fine. Don't get me wrong. There's people who love it, then that's okay. I'm not dogging on you or your opinion or whatever. It's okay. I'm just expressing how I feel about this. Some people think it's perfect. Again, that's totally okay. I also like the way how the original Dragon Ball anime ends with Goku and Chichi getting married. I think it's a fine ending, but that's not really the ending. And with Oob, that didn't really feel like an ending either. It just kind of bothered me that Goku's like, I'm going to leave the people who I have known for years to do something else. And Goku has done that before as a child. He's like, okay, I'm going to leave you guys to go train. But he knew he was going to see them again. They were the people in his life were seemingly always very important to him. Okay? Now, one could argue maybe Goku saw them again. Maybe it wasn't like that. If you don't want to go to the GT timeline. Um, Again, timelines, people. Think about multiple universes, okay? Dragon Ball Daima's ending. I read some lines saying, oh, Dragon Ball Daima kind of told you that the characters go through different dimensions. No, it didn't. I thought I was going to get that, but I didn't. But it's not a prequel to Dragon Ball Super. It's a separate timeline. It is. If you haven't played this universe, then you wouldn't get it. But if you have, well, even if you haven't, you might understand. And it's a separate timeline. That's yeah. The ending of Z has like 3 to 4 to 5 different ending branches there. Okay, it does. Like there's Dragon Ball GT, there's Dragon Ball Super the manga, Dragon Ball Super the anime, Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods, which you could say that's like the same thing. Well, yeah, but there's some alterations, so not quite. And now Dragon Ball Daima, and a few others too. There's like that fan made or not, just Dragon Ball Online. Which I thought Dragon Ball Online could take place 100 years after Dragon Ball Super. That could still be very well the case, but that was made years before he even made Dragon Ball Super. I think he made Dragon Ball Online shortly after Evolution came out, and then he saw that film and he's like, I'm referring to Akira Toriyama, and he was like, I got to come back, and so he did, which I'm happy he did. Of course, I'm happy he did. He means so much to me. I know he means a lot to all of you, and I know. He means so much to a lot of you, I'm sure. I know I'm not alone on that one. I never met him, but I felt like I've always known him since I got into Dragon Ball. Thank you so much, Toriyama. From the bottom of my heart, for everything. And it's not just Dragon Ball I love. I haven't watched much of Dr. Slump yet. I think I'm episode 10 or between episode 10 and 20 somewhere, I think. But it's a funny, beautiful, well-done story and show. And I really love Sandland. Sandland's a great story. I have the manga. I will read it, and I'm playing the game. He's really creative in Dragon Quest and everything. And I'm playing through Chrono Trigger right now on the Super Nintendo. I got a reproduction cartridge of it over there. I love him so much. I do. I don't know if he had a hand in the story of Chrono Trigger. I will never know. Well, maybe if that's true, that might get revealed one day. But as far as I know, he only worked on the art. Same thing with Dragon Quest. But he's been working on video games. He must have had some hand in some character writing or storyline telling in some ways. I'm sure he gave some points or something. I'm sure he did. But yeah, Toriyama's a lot more of a genius than you may realize he is. Which Dragon Ball character does that sound like to you? What Dragon Ball character gets highly renowned as, a stupid head or an idiot or a fool or a moron or an undeveloped character or a stagnant character, when in reality, he's a genius and he does have character development and he is one of the best characters in the whole series, and he has his moments where he comes off as complex. It's just very subtle. You don't always notice it. The main fucking protagonist, Son Goku himself. Coincidence? Of course not. Toriyama's genius is subtle. That's why you don't always see it, realize it. It doesn't always click with you. That's a fact, people. That is a fact. Dragon Ball has shown you that time and time and time and time and time and time and time again. And I'm sure Toyotaru has done some of those little trinkets of subtlety with his storytelling. I'm sure he has. And I'm sure all of that at the beginning might have been a little bit accidental by Toriyama, but over time it became a craft. So you interpreted that however you want to. I just know I'm not wrong. So rest in peace, you beautiful bastard. Seriously, rest in peace, you wonderful man. You legend, you genius, you Godfather shonen. One of the best visionaries on this planet, one of the best visionaries, storytellers in the world, and now he's gone. Of all human history, not just of our modern times, of all human history. I don't care if you're the biggest fan of Dragon Ball or not because of its story. It's one of the greatest things ever made in humankind history, and a part of that is because of its story. Whether you realize that it made it or not doesn't matter. It's 1,000% true. It influenced so many creative people today. So many. Toyotaru, I have full faith in you. I really, really do. So I'm sure Dragon Ball will be okay without Toriyama. It's just like it's like a child that lost its parents and now it's being adopted by another loving parent, and there's nothing wrong with that necessarily. It's very fucked up and sad. It happens. It's really messed up and sad, and I'm sorry that happened to you. I am, but as long as that new parent takes good care of you and there's a loving bonding relationship there, you'll be okay, right? So Dragon Ball is no different. It's this child that's lost its dad, and now it's got a new one, and it's got its uncle basically. Toru was like Dragon Ball's uncle, and now he's the foster father. There was already an established relationship beforehand, thankfully. So I'm sure he's taking very good care of it, and he's a huge fan. And the work he's done before he worked with Toriyama, I think is really unique, imaginative, and creative. I love his Dragon Ball GT sequel story. I think that's awesome, wonderful stuff. And I would love to see more of that come into fruition. Maybe you'll never will, and that's okay. You know, he left his manga on hiatus for 30 plus for 20 to 30 plus years now. And that's okay. You know, I'm sure it'll come back one day. It might. Who knows? Again, I just want to. I need to stop filming because it's been about 20 minutes, and you guys heard me ramble not long enough. If you watch the whole thing, I thank you so much. Thanks again, Akira Toriyama. It's now officially that day, isn't it? Where I'm at right now. 8 minutes away. It's 8 minutes to the day he died. Only 8 more minutes. That was when I broke my arm. Can you see the scar? Right here? With my skate shoes, my soap shoes. And look at this. I'm using this for my phone. I thought it was fitting. His manga theater book. I can't believe you're gone, dude. Thank you so much, Akira Toriyama. Thank you. Seriously, thank you. I can't believe it's been a year. I know his family's probably hurting, and so are a lot of people around the world right now, I'm sure. I didn't cry until I came home. I mean, until I was in the car. My parents drove me home, and I just started crying in the car. No, I cried before that. I did. And I was in bed at the hospital, and my tears just started coming down. I was like, I can't fucking believe it. It's been a year. He would have been 69 or 70, I think. No, was it 69? I think he died at 68. Yeah, I think he did. That's just fun to think about. He probably would have made a dumb joke about that. I'm sure he would have. Rest in peace, my friend. I know I never met you, but you mean a lot to me. You mean almost everything to me. Dragon Ball changed my life forever when I got into it. I'll never forget that. Ever. I'll never ever forget that. Thank you, Akira Toriyama. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm so sorry for being negative towards Daima when it first got announced still. What was I thinking? Right? I was just more confused and surprised. I loved the shit out of it. And I can't believe it's now the best Dragon Ball series. That's crazy, isn't it? I didn't see that one coming, but it probably is. In terms of anime form, I can't deny what my heart's feeling right now. Maybe I'll change my mind or opinion later on, okay? Don't take this as fact. It's just what I'm saying on camera. Please don't freak out. Please be civil, okay? I'd appreciate it. It was beautiful. It truly was. And it was well done. It was well made. And it really does come across as the best Dragon Ball the best Dragon Ball anime ever. but that doesn't mean it has to be your favorite. And you can disagree with me. It's okay. We're all human beings. It's just an opinion. It's nothing to lose your mind over. It's nothing to get mad about. If you weren't a fan of the show, I mean, to me, that's kind of sad because to me, that means you're not really a fan of what Akira Toriyama created, but you don't really love this child the same way I do or other fans do. But that's okay. You love it however you want to. Um, but for those who truly feel this way, I'm here for you. I really am. And I know you're here for me. And Dragon Ball will always be special because of this and what came out before it. Forever. Even the projects that Toriyama didn't really work on. Well, with the exception of Dragon Ball Evolution, right? I feel awful for the actors. It was specifically Justin Chatwin, and I forgot Piccolo's actor, but he got to play Zamasu in Dragon Ball Super because they wanted to do so much more for that movie, and they didn't get the chance to. So, but with the exception of Dragon Ball Evolution, even if it brought back the series, and it led to this, which is crazy to think about, but it's true. All of Dragon Ball is beautiful. All of it is. The whole thing. The mangas, the video games, the original animated films, maybe the two knockoff movies. I haven't seen them yet. I mean, even Evolution to a certain degree, okay? To a certain degree. Dragon Ball the anime, Dragon Ball Z the anime, Dragon Ball GT the anime, Dragon Ball Z Kai the anime, Dragon Ball Super the anime, Dragon Ball Super the manga, Dragon Ball Minus, Dragon Ball that Neko manga Toriyama made, the manga theater I have behind me here, Sandland, which that's not Dragon. Okay, that's not Dragon. Well, everything Akira Toriyama has ever created or influenced or been a part of, or there's someone else out there who took his work and made a sequel or a spin-off or whatever. It's all gorgeous. It's all beautiful. It's all meaningful. It's all important. It's all impactful. It all touched our souls, our hearts, our lives at some point. It meant so much to us. And that's not anything we're ever going to forget. That will be with us for the rest of our lives. And this is no different. Akira Toriyama, if you can hear me up there, man, you probably may not be able to understand what I'm saying. I don't know if you know English or not, but thank you for everything anyways. God bless you. Truly, God bless you, man. God bless you. God bless everyone who you have ever worked with. All of them. Every single person that has ever worked with you and that you have ever worked with. God bless you all. I am the Y2K reviewer, guys. Till we meet again.